Hello, hello, mis cielitos, and welcome back. Coco is here, and I am continuing a raging loop. I've been excited to get back to this, see what it's all about. I'm just diving right into things because I, unfortunately am struggling with... Alright. I am struggling with cramps right now, so I'll probably be keeping this to 2 hours like last time. But let's go ahead and load game. As we walked up the hill and arrived at the so-called Nosato mansion, from what I could tell, it was located at the highest point in the settlement. And, like Jamie said, it was definitely a hell of a building. It had an elegant Western design, which would probably look even better if the place were better maintained. The yard was overgrown, and the building itself was pretty much buried in ivy and small trees. If someone told me it was cursed, I'd instantly believe them. Did people actually live here? I wonder if the intercom works. She pressed a button next to the aged iron gate. Yasumisu was a quiet place, so I could easily hear the bell ring inside. Should we try again? Let's not. We'll piss him off. Moody guy, huh? Moody? Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I wasn't sure what she meant, but I opted to just wait rather than ask more questions. Soon enough, the person in question walked out of the mansion. What is it? Who are you? He wasn't young, but he didn't look middle-aged either. He certainly looked high-strung, that much was sure. Hello, Nosato-san. It's Serisawa. I know you, Jamie Serisawa. I'm asking the young man with you. Haruaki-san, this is Kiyonosuke Nosato-san. Kiyonosuke-san, this is Haruaki Usaishi. He got into an accident. That introduction was the briefest one yet. What? I explained the situation again. He furrowed his brow when I mentioned the Saranaga, in addition to the reason we were here. So I need repair tools so I can get out of here as soon as possible. Are the tires tubeless? Huh? I have patches, but I think fixing tubeless tires would be a bit too much for an amateur, though there's no problem if you aren't. Oh, but if the tube burst, you have no choice but to change it. I don't have any spares here, obviously, and I wouldn't give them if I did. Sorry, but I'm not too knowledgeable about that. Oof, what a waste of time. I recommend spending however many thousands you need to have repairmen come and pick you up. I had no retort to that. Oh, but Nosato-san, I don't think we have any more outsiders. I don't think we can have any more outsiders come here right now. Huh? Haven't you been to a proper city? Don't tell me you still believe that nonsense. I'd be fine with it, but I doubt the elders would be. We've had too many visitors these past few days. Huh. That's about the number of... visitors? I don't care what you Yasumisu peasants think. Wow, alright. What do you expect me to do anyway? Fix the tires myself and get oil all over me? Oh, I'd never suggest that. I just think that a Fujiyoshi village head should help a troubled visitor. How about, instead of relying on me only when it's convenient, you just give him a traditional Yasumisu welcome? You know, throw him off the cliff. Well, you know, he kind of already managed that himself, so... Whoa, what the hell? Come on, you can't say that. Jamie's tone was slightly off. I could feel a bit of irritation behind her words. I know it might be a bother, but can you at least lend me the tools? What? I'll just borrow them. You won't hear or see me work. I can even pay. Well, I don't mind that much, but I'll want compensation for anything you break. Student or not, I'll have you act proper. Then he pointed me to the garage and walked back to the mansion. Man, I thought we were screwed there. What the hell is a burst tube?
Oh, wow, that's so lame.
What, you think every biker can fix a bike by just bashing it with a wrench or something?
I don't know, but aren't there a lot of girls who are into guys good with cars and stuff?
Oh, so you're into Nosato, she?
Nope, he's just acting like he's smart. He probably never repaired a thing in his life. The guy's not nearly as experienced as he'd have you think.
Huh? Then why does he have bike repair stuff?
The Nosato Mansion is basically the Yasumizu branch of the Nosato family. Their main mansion is in Kamifujiyoshi. Whatever they don't need there, they send over here. I heard Kyonosuke-san was giving a car 5 or 6 years ago, but he couldn't drive it at all, so it's been gathering dust ever since.
Damn. That was the countryside for you. Couldn't hide your shame if your life depended on it. Anyway, I now knew that the man was the condescending, pretentious type. He still helped me out, though, and it was true I don't know much about bike repairs, so I couldn't really get mad. Anyway, let's just take everything that looks like it could be useful.
Like bandits, huh? I'm in. Sure I'm not bothering you?
I'd feel down without anyone to talk to. Just keep chatting with me, it helps. The instructions that came with the repair kit told me that my bike's tires were a rather difficult type to repair. Apparently, I had to remove the tires, but where did I even start with that? Well, as long as I didn't break it, nothing I did could be worse than having to call road service down here, so I just tried taking it apart. But as I removed whatever nuts I could, I made the situation even worse than it was.
Yeah, this really wasn't a job for an amateur.
You seem to be having a rough time. You can eat this too, Chiemi-chan.
Oh, wow! Thank you!
Well, this looks serious. Man, machines are just no good.
Hey, the benefits of culture are great, as long as they don't break. Think you can fix it for sundown? That might be hard. Don't worry, though. Worst comes to worst, I'll do something.
I really appreciated how she handled the visitors in my stead.
Hey, Chieni, is it hard to get a bike license? I don't know. I know that scooter licenses are easy. I have one myself.
Mid-sized bike licenses are pretty hard to get. You even need to take a course, just like with cars. And you like bikes.
The hell? What's it matter to you? How much was that anyway?
800,000 yen, brand new.
Holy shit! What the hell? That's way too high! You an idiot or what? How'd you get that much?
Part-time jobs and all that.
And you got it into an accident. Poor Haruaki-san.
And Chiemi-sensei, if I may ask, what happens to my share of the food?
Oh no, I ate it all. Poor Haruaki-san.
You're protecting us from something. That wasn't an accident. Oh, and it makes me nervous. What is it? Pay food? Pale man food? Let me adjust my chair. It looks like it's slightly off. But yeah, yeah, I do not believe for a second that was an accident. I didn't want sympathy from the one responsible. As I told her off for not leaving me any food, I somehow removed the tires. I could only hope I'd be able to fix this up. I had this thing for less than a month, but the trouble it was putting me through made it feel somewhat dear to me. I wanted to fire it up again and make it go as fast as it could. Suddenly, I heard an engine. It felt like it was mocking me. Hold on. An engine? Here? I stopped working and turned around to see an unfamiliar van drive into the plaza. Barring the classic-looking piece of junk in Nosato's garage, this was the first time I'd seen a car here. As far as I knew, no one living here actually owned a running car, so...
These are the journalists I told you about.
I knew it. Once the van stopped, the lady stepped out of it. Hello. Oh. She's pretty. I'm looking at your necklace. Looks like a horseshoe.
Hello.
I'll be bothering you again today, Your new face. Hello. My name's Haruaki Bike Crash.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Crap. That was no time for an inside joke. I quickly introduced myself properly. I crashed not too far away, so I'm stuck here for the time being. I see. So you're a student. Sorry about the trouble you're going through. Oh, and this is me. The woman gave me her business card. Hisako Mamiya, a freelance writer. Her pen name was Kyoko Hosei. Have you ever read Kyoko Hosei's articles? Sorry. Figured. I'm not a big name yet. And the magazines I do get printed in are marketed for housewives and the elderly. That's some pretty intense competition. What do you write, anyway? Food reviews. I specialize in unusual dishes. Like the foulest smelling canned food in the world or something? Yep. Your usual brand of weirdness doesn't attract much attention these days. So I'm looking for minor culinary oddities local to Japan. Hello, Bellhound. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. The journalist is actually alive. I still have the strong suspicion it won't be for long, but for now, she's alive. They said it was more than one, though, so I'm wondering where her companions are. Anyway, if you know any weird dishes from your hometown, do tell me. I'd travel the length of Japan to give it a try. A student from the lab I frequented once made pork miso soup with a mushroom he found on campus. We had mass hallucinations and... No flashes of brilliance or poisons, please. As we chatted, I became curious. By the way, weren't there two of you? Hey, the Koku curse is about characters I like. So far, I'm not attached to anyone. And I will do my damnedest not to get attached to anyone unless I seal their fate. Or no, maybe there have been times when I've caught a death about a character I don't have any particular feelings for. I can't remember. It happens so many times. Yes, I'm here with a partner. He just needs some time to... Oh, there he is. I looked at the van and became completely awestruck. It felt like the van had shed its skin or something. That made no sense, but seriously, how did this fit in there? That's rude. I thought maybe they had pulled something out. He was gargantuan. Takumi-san was something, but this man was on the level of a foreign heavyweight wrestler. Though, unlike Takumi-san, this man was primarily fat rather than muscle. As he walked out of the driver's seat, the van shook wildly. Yudai Hashimoto-san, a photographer. He's way more famous than me. He works in all sorts of fields. I imagine you've seen some of his photos without even knowing it. I didn't know much about photography, but I was definitely convinced. There was a certain kind of authority or gravity around him. He wasn't saying a word, and I couldn't tell what he was thinking. Nice to meet you. I'm Haruaki Fusaishi. Was he even alive? Hello. After giving a pause, he slowly bowed like the moving mountain he was, and greeted me with a voice like a titan. He seemed somewhat difficult to interact with.
This is your last day here, isn't it?
Yes, Oribe-san said she let me try her prize Shishinare. Shishinare? What is that? Well, maybe they'll say.
I don't know if an outsider can handle it.
I have my stomach medicine. I'm sure I'll be fine. And so Mamiyashi and Hashimoto-shi walked off to the dining hall. Who would have thought that such a beauty was a delicacy hunter? I had to admit, that gap was kind of charming. As intrigued as I was, I couldn't waste any more time. I had to fix my bike already. Oh! Whoa! You doing alright there, buddy? You seemed, quite alarmed. A lot of things had surprised me here in Yasumizu, but nothing as much as this. Hello? No reaction. At first glance, he looked like a poor man, too senile to think and perceive properly. You need something from me? I made sure to speak as clearly as possible. It didn't look like he understood. I figured it was best to just ignore him and resume the repairs, but...
Coming.
I looked at him again. He was still just standing there, like his soul and brain had left his body. A vacant stare. Yellowed eyes, half-open mouth covered in saliva.
Coming.
He spoke again. What's coming? What? His voice was too hoarse to make out. Come again? I placed my hand against my ear. He finally understood what I wanted and approached to whisper something. I brought my ear closer and...
The wolf is coming!
The sudden shout caught me completely off guard and made me fall to the ground. He looked down at me, laughing. He clapped and opened his half-toothless mouth into a wide smile.
The wolf is coming! The wolf is coming!
He bent his body in a weird way, laughed like he was convulsing, turned around, and just left. Yeah, that's about how I'm feeling.
Haruaki-san! Oh, I'm too late.
Chimi had joined the journalist and only just came back. Late for what?
Gramps over there loves messing around with strangers like that.
Wait, that's your grandpa?
No. I don't even know his name. He's been in Yasumizu forever, and he's always like that.
It felt less like he was just messing around and more like he's a bit, touched.
Yep, everyone calls him the old man who cried wolf.
Named after the boy who cried wolf, I assume. Doesn't work as well, though. Wolves, eh? As far as I knew, there were no wild wolves in Japan. There used to be, but after the last sighting in either the Meiji or Showa era, they've been considered extinct here. Modern Japan's image of wolves came from the Western fairy tales and the like. It wasn't linked to anything in our culture or life. Even the boy who cried wolf was a Western tale. Did his brand of insanity make him repeat the tale or something? A bit weirded out by the circumstances, I went back to repairing my bike. After a bit more time, I somehow took off the rubber from the tires and removed the tubes. Both tires were pieced by some really rusty nails. Fuck, this kind of stuff only happened at the worst of times. Then I applied the patches and filled them with air using a manual pump. I wet the tubes. There were no bubbles, meaning no air was leaving them. Things were looking good. After the high schoolers came back from school and passed by, no one else stopped to talk. Jamie was looking a bit bored now. I think I got it.
Seriously? But it all seems so hopeless.
Well, sorry. Though I still need to rebuild this. That's gonna be a lot of work.
And you'll be able to leave then?
Yeah, believe me. I know I shouldn't stay here long. I can take a hint.
That's great.
She didn't seem to care that much. Guess I had no chance with her, huh? I mean, all things considered, from what we've gathered, you just very, very recently broke up. And it hurt you so much that you went on this wild trip with no direction or, idea of where you were going. At least that's what I've gathered, so maybe wait a little while so you don't just make someone a rebound. That never turns out well.
You've been at this for hours. How are you holding up? Need a break?
Well, I'd be better if a certain someone didn't take away my lunch break.
Hey, I gave you some crackers, didn't I?
Like that was enough to sate a guy in his mid-20s. Still, I'm pretty fine. I'll push it forward a bit more. You can go if you want. I've been introduced to just about everyone here.
There's 2 people you haven't met yet.
Really? Well, there was no real need to, right?
I'll stay around a bit longer. I came back here because I'm bored, and it's not like I'm busy.
Couldn't you just play around with your 52 guy friends?
I take it back. I came back because I wanted to be bored. Living in this city is so annoying and tiring. Especially with 52 guys texting you all the time.
Oh.
Sorry, I lied about the 52 guys.
Why?
Because I wanted to keep you in check, I guess.
Why would she pull a tactic like that only to reveal her hand?
Hey, did you really get dumped by your girlfriend?
And now she asks me about that. I did. Honest.
I see.
Well, after that relentless assault, it wouldn't be fair unless I played my own card. Wanna come with?
Huh? It's a 2-seater.
Yeah, there's even an extra helmet. Not dry yet, though. I'm obviously leaving soon, so unless you have something planned, you can join me. We can even go on a bike tour if we have enough time. I can take you anywhere. Flexible, open to fine-tuning, wild and charming. This was a good date invitation, if I did say so myself.
That sounds great, and I have no plans.
Oh?
I'll go get my stuff then.
Jamie smiled and turned around to head to her place. He then looked back at me and...
You should hurry before I change my mind.
Yeah, sure. Well, that made me motivated. This was one tiring trip, but at least I met someone good along the way. I just forget everything I didn't want to remember while on the road with her. I could only hope that clever girl and I would eventually grow closer. With that ulterior motive in mind, I resumed rebuilding the bike. Oh, I also forgot to mention at the start of the stream, so I looked into the game and to see if there had been any updates about the whole situation about how much you're allowed to stream. And I didn't see anything on the official website, but I do have another friend who did play this game and said that he had no issue. And this game was released in 2015, so there are several full-length Let's Plays, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and play the entire game. We shall have to see. After several failed attempts, I was finally making some good progress putting the bike back together. Afternoon had passed, and it was almost evening. At the rate I was going, I'd definitely be working while it was dark. Would that even be possible? It might be way past midnight by the time I was done. Jamie might dump me for that. Ugh, man, life sure was hard. The plaza I'd worked in was now totally empty. There was no one around me. All I could hear was the wind, the frogs, and the tools in my hands. It was desolate, to say the least. I suddenly felt really weak. It made me keenly aware of being in a place I didn't belong, and that I was preparing to escape. It was in an oppressive atmosphere, like the bars of a cage were slowly swinging shut. What's this, Haruaki? Think you're gonna get attacked or something? I tried to laugh it off, but it didn't work. As I became more conscious of my surroundings, I began to hear things I hadn't noticed before. I heard a voice. Someone was singing. It was an inarticulate little girl's voice. I stopped my work. Before I knew it, I'd put my tools down and gone looking for the source. Was I that starved for human presence? Or did the malaise make me feel like I was in danger? I walked down the hill to where the song came from. Passing the tall grass, I arrived. Guardians are... It was a strange sight. The field was covered in tall grass. There were countless rocks peeking out of it. Unlike the boulders all over Yasumizu, these were only up to my waist. They looked like gravestones. 6, the bad jar hums, a long grate with an array of bricks. The field extended into the dusky western sky before ending at a cliff. This was the lowest spot in Yasumizu, the border to Saranaga. There was a large pine right at the edge. 8, the donut bologna rice nose on the mountain. The evening sun, the stones, and the pine's shadow gave the field a strange aura. A little girl was running through it. Her steps were awkward. At this moment, the space was alien. I felt like I was looking at a Giorgio de Chirico painting. The place felt like it didn't belong in this world. Suddenly, I came to understand that this place was special. It was a sacred, mystical ground where no outsiders were welcome. The girl fell. Are you okay? I run with no hesitation to the little girl. Why is this written this way? What the fuck? Help up, half-crying little girl, muddy clothes, new graze on band-aid covered kneecap? Dude, maybe if I press one of the arrow keys? Nope. I console little girl, push away, run, someone. Me saw once, girl appears. I wonder if I should be writing this shit down. Let's see. Blank page, blank page. Trying to annotate it. Okay, and then appears girl. Oh, me. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. Girl, weave incomprehensible phase, hide behind little girl, fear hostility highs. Run. Alright, I'm just... You probably won't make it. But run! Me, girl behind mist. Me. Turn around. Run. Where? In a daze, I came back to the plaza. Suddenly Jamie shook me, bringing me back to my senses. Where were you? Sorry. I'll finish the job now. It's too late, you idiot! You won't make it in time! You gotta hide! I couldn't understand what she was getting at. What are you doing? Go to your room right now! But Haruaki-san's... Forget the outsider. Old man Kanzo and I'll check the other places. Stop wasting time and go back to yours. I couldn't understand. What were these two doing? What scared them so much? Didn't take long for me to find out. I looked down the hill. From Saranaga, beyond the field I'd just been in, came a rising haze. It was so dense you couldn't easily call it mist. It moved strangely, like a living creature as it flowed into the plaza.
Haruaki-san, over here!
Jamie pulled me by the hand. What's going on? Ugh. My head feels like it weighs a ton.
Deal with it! You gotta find a place you can lock the doors. You'll die if you don't!
What do you mean? Tell me.
Please, don't ask questions and just do as I say just this once!
Albeit hesitantly, I did as she said. Yeah, nothing wrong here. Right, Bellhound? We ran up the hill and crossed a rice field path until we made it to a simple outhouse.
This should be fine.
Seriously, what's going on? And sure, there's a hell of a mist, but this won't protect me, right?
Listen, there's no time to explain, so please just do what I say and only that. Get in there, lock yourself, and stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound.
My mind was pretty clear by this point, so much so that I began to wonder why it was clouded until now. Because of that, I could easily understand exactly what Jamie just said, despite how weird it was. I could also see she was really desperate. Hide in the outhouse. Now that's a hell of an order.
Haruaki-san.
Just so you know, pulling that off is pretty hard. When I do, I'd like a good reward and an explanation.
Sure. I'll tell you everything. So please, survive the night.
The words, teary smile. None of it looked fake. See ya then. You gotta hurry, right?
Yep. Haruaki-san.
What?
I'll tell you tomorrow.
Leaving me one hell of a homework assignment, Jamie ran off. The plaza was covered in the mist by now. I could see it rising to take over the fields, too. Anyway, a promise was a promise. 10 minutes later, I began to wonder what I was doing. Was I really supposed to spend the night here? This outhouse wasn't like a prefab you'd find in construction sites. It was just a shack built by hand. It merely happened to have a toilet unit installed. It was Japanese style, so I couldn't even sit down. Oh God. All I could do was stand. Another problem. It was the type of toilet that periodically had to be pumped empty, so the smell was really bad. Sure, there was a cover on the toilet unit. Without any kind of air freshener anywhere, the smell of ammonia could only do so much. The only good thing about being here was that if I had to go to the toilet, well, mission complete. But what of it? Again, was I really supposed to spend the night here? The question quickly made me realize how stupid this was, and I began making assumptions to make this easier for myself. Was I being pranked? Or was everyone here just crazy? Hell, the mist had already filled the surroundings, and there was no way this shabby outhouse protected me from it. The air here already felt misty and damp. The temperature here was low, so I could still bear it somewhat. Staying here all night would make me all wet. Again, I wasn't safe from the mist here. That considered, I'd probably be better off sleeping in the grass outside than staying here. Oh God. Oh Lord. The reasonable part of my mind urged me to stop playing along with these hicks. However,
Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound. Sure, I'll tell you everything. So please, survive the night. My sense of duty made it hard for me to break the promise I'd made to her. Actually, that wasn't quite true. I was more intrigued by the prospect of learning more about this place. Anyway, I took the time to compile what I'd found out today. This was the Yasumizu settlement, a special part of Fujiyoshi. It was situated right next to the Saranaga Rapids. The people living here were Chiemi Serisawa, Yasunaga Oribe, his family, Kaori Oribe and Yoshitsu Oribe, Chikamochi Kamoshida, Haru Makishima, her granddad, Hanzo Makishima, Hae Yamawaki, Takumi Muro, Kyunosuke no Sato. It seemed like he was from Kamifujiyoshi, the place on the other side of the mountain, but for some reason he lived here now. And finally, the old man who cried wolf. Those were the 11 people I'd met, and Chiemi said I had 2 more left. That could only mean that the 2 I'd met by that pine were the ones. A little girl. She was probably the child that strayed into Saranaga yesterday morning. And there was that fantastical-looking white-haired woman clad in strange clothing. She was probably the one I'd seen in the morning. The fact I'd seen her twice made it likely she was indeed real. But with how mysterious this place was, I couldn't rule out the possibility that she was an illusion. According to Chiemi, the little girl was being looked after by someone in the village, so I could only assume that the white-haired woman was the one. If I counted the little girl, it would mean that Yasumizu had 13 inhabitants. Then there were the 2 journalists, Hisako Mamiya and Yudai Hashimoto. Add me to that, and you had a total of 3 outsiders, but I'd put that aside for now. Anyway, time for an assessment. Yesterday morning, a little girl strayed into Saranaga. To make it worse, no one, not even herself, knew anything about her. She instantly got branded as an ill omen. The next day, Chiemi, who was in Saranaga for some reason, found me there. They recognized me as a proper lost person, but since I came through Saranaga, I was also branded as an ill omen. From what Kyunosuke no Satoshi said, it was safe to assume that it used to be customary to throw people like us into Saranaga. And then there was the mist. The girl said something mysterious. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. I could only assume it was related to the same superstitions. After all, the mist came from Saranaga itself. It and the river seemed to be central to the local customs and ideas. With that in mind, how was it dangerous? What was gonna happen now? Yomibito, as in people from Yomi, the ancient Japanese land of the dead. Dead people came back through Saranaga, and they were corrupted. Well, that gave room for some wild ideas. Was there some sort of pathogen in Saranaga that rose up with mists? Did it turn people into zombies? Was I about to be part of a Japanese Resident Evil? Wait, that was already Japanese. What if you had a 10% chance to be infected by the mists, but a 100% chance to be infected by another person? That'd explain why everyone had to isolate themselves like this. If I became a zombie, I probably wouldn't have the mind to unlock the door. So basically, by locking myself in here, I was quarantining myself. I hadn't put all that much thought into that, but that seemed like a good story. Sure, stuff like the boulders and the wolves didn't fit anywhere into my idea, but it was still interesting.
Then again, I knew this was Hicksville and all, but would a superstition that science could explain so easily really survive the modern world? It seemed so weird.
Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound.
Don't make a sound. To be frank, the reason why I spent so much time on these delusions was because I was scared of things I didn't know or understand. In the past, people used to attribute stuff like natural phenomena and diseases to gods, devils, yokai, and then do nothing but fear them. They were scared of these manifestations of monsters and whatnot, but on the other hand, it was better than not seeing or knowing what they really were. The fact that you could die to things you couldn't see or understand made life really unreasonable and unfair. That was why it was very logical to give things names and mental images in order to recognize and memorize them. My fear of things I didn't know was the same, except I wasn't satisfied with just labels or hypotheses. I needed to reach the truth. That aside, what I was feeling right now wasn't a fear of the unknown. It was a realistic, practical fear of something that could endanger my life.
Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound.
That meant that outside lurked something dangerous that could hear sounds. Perhaps it was the so-called dead that rose up from the river. Or assuming I was right with my Saranaga sickness theory, it was people who came out and beat the shit out of all the diseased who didn't follow the rules. The wolf is coming. Maybe the wolf was the title given to the killer. Suddenly I heard a scream in the distance. No! I don't want to! Welp, time to die, everyone. Go out and take a look. Whoa. That was some timing. Right as I was about to form a new hypothesis. The truth connecting it all suddenly came to me, and it was right outside. It had gotten really dark. There were no lights anywhere. The darkness was fear. Unperceived equals unknown equals dangerous equals scary. Leaving this place was dangerous. Dangerous equals scary, 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 scary. Scary things were scary no matter how much logic you applied. But I couldn't discard my desire to get to know the fear and conquer it. I opened the door and stopped in place. Night wasn't absolute darkness. No matter how dark or cloudy it was, the sky always gave us some bit of light. However, I came to understand that it could be hard to see, even if there was light. Everything I saw was covered by a dense mist. Combined with the pale moonlight, it made the area seem milky. It made it hard to get around. Regardless, I couldn't ignore the scream. There was something beyond this veil. I kept moving forward. Unless my ears were deceiving me, the scream belonged to a woman, and had come from the right. I couldn't let myself think that. Or rather, I didn't want to think that. The unknown was scary. Personally, I'd found that principle made my life really easy. I had more than enough fear from those which were directly threatening my life. I really didn't want to have the fear of losing someone as well. Change your line of thought, Haruaki. Solving the mystery might save someone. 2 birds with 1 stone. I began walking faster. Another scream. It was close. I realized I had to find a way to protect myself. I was unarmed, so I looked around for anything I could use as a weapon. I felt around to see if there were any branches or anything. Sadly, all I felt was grass. I went deeper and searched the ground itself. Soon, I felt something hard. It was a rock. A moment of digging later, I took it in hand. It was a bit smaller than my hand. I almost teared up at how useless it seemed, but it was better than nothing. I looked at the base of my feet and saw the grassy ground. I could easily move forward if I checked the ground using my feet. And since I might have been close to the danger, I had to focus on what was ahead, too. I'd recognized the danger, and as possible, get rid of it. I concentrated entirely on that and stepped forward. I couldn't hear the screams anymore. I could hear other things. A wet sound. And the sound of something cracking. It filled my mind with countless things I didn't want to imagine. Even so, I kept walking forward. Forward. Until I saw it. Holy shit. Oh. My hypotheses were nothing but delusions. The truth was truly something you had to see for yourself. But why? Why was this so scary in spite of it being true? It wasn't supposed to exist. It couldn't exist. After all, it was a wolf with a humanoid body. And there's no such things as werewolves. The next morning, in a paddy field in Fujiyoshi, Yasumizu 3rd block, someone discovered a thoroughly mangled corpse. The clothes nearby led the discoverers to conclude it was the traveler Haruaki Fusaishi. He's still moving! Strangely enough, I could perceive this particular moment. Yomibito, purge him! And so I... Goodbye, Haruaki-san. Was finished off by the girl. The feast begins. The last thing I heard... Oh, hang the wolf... was that. Raging Loop. Unveiled arrival. Obtained key 2, Werewolf and Resurrection. You can view it in the keys list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. Okay. Watch the hint corner? Sure, I guess? Hey there! You've done it now, eh, Chief? Me? Don't mind me. I'm just an insignificant interface character. You can call me Sheep. This is a space between dreams. That bastard Haruaki Fusaishi can't see it, so feel free to kick back and relax. That said, you can't stay too long. I'm busy, so let's get down to business. As you'd expect of a hint corner, I'm here to give some helpful advice in your times of need. First, let's get all the game explanations out of the way. Well, I did say you've done it now just before. You were actually fated to arrive here from the start. I mean, you only had one choice, right? There should have been one below it, but it had a lock mark next to it and you couldn't pick it. Oh, but just so you know, redoing Chimi Seisawa's idiotic quiz is pointless. None of those choices will change a thing. I think it was explained to you back in the tutorial, but let's review Raging Loop's structure just in case. Yeah, As you experience for yourself, you would definitely die in Raging Loop. Why is that? Because many choices are locked and you'll need keys to unlock them. These keys are spread throughout the story, you'll need to die to obtain most of them. That's why death is unavoidable.
It seems Haruaki Fusaishi can retain his memories for the next time, even if he dies. This is a system to replicate that. So here's my first piece of advice to you. If you get stuck, try dying. There are many keys lying with the story's many bad endings. You can also obtain keys from some surprising outcomes. Of course, it's possible to get all the keys and finish the game without seeing all the bad endings, but I'll leave that up to your playing style. As for bad ending 02, also known as Toilet Man's End, you need key number 2 to avoid it. But that won't be a problem for next time. Did you notice you already obtained key 2 by dying here? You can check the details of key 2 from the keys list in the menu, so you can check it out there. But basically, Haruaki Fusaishi now knows from experience he'll die if he goes out at night. That's what makes a new choice possible. You'll find more bad endings that you're forced to play through first in the future, so keep that in mind. Other times you can keep going forward for a long time without finding a key. Whenever you get a key, it is displayed with large red letters, so remember that part too. Haruaki Fusaishi will be sent back to the starting point after this, in other words, to the scene at the start of the game with him on his bike. You can reread everything from the start if you'd like, but you're going to die dozens of times from now on, so it'd be a pain to reread each time. So once you get a grip on the situation, use a scenario chart to jump ahead. You can jump to any scene you've read before, whenever, and wherever you want. It's really handy. For example, you can open the menu, press the chart button, and go to Q, follow the Scream, and then Smith's Even Now. Use the scenario chart to jump around. That's the key to completing Raging Loop. Incidentally, this marks the end of 2 Dense Mist. The so-called prologue is over. If you pick the choice that was unlocked the first time, the game's first main route, 3 Yomi, will begin. Good luck. Next time you come across a locked choice, look to the right side. You should see the number of keys you need to unlock it. The number appears in the scenario chart too. It makes it clear what's locked and what key numbers you need. Handy system, huh? By the way, here's a little tip. You won't be getting key 01 for a long time. You didn't miss anything, so relax and just keep playing to your heart's content. Yeah, that took a while and I'm busy. Well, that's enough for this time. Die another hearty death next time. Guess it was just a dream, right? Do better next time. 1 sheep, 2 sheep. Alright, so let's see. So we need number 4 for that one. We need 20 for that one. Ooh boy, a lot for her. Alright, well, let's head back here. Suddenly, I heard a scream in the distance. And they put a skull on it. Nice. Keep still. What was that? It sounded like someone's life was in danger. It meant something dangerous was nearby. Wait, I couldn't be rash. The world didn't have many things that logic couldn't explain. Like the existence of murderers. But until I saw the source of the scream myself, it was nothing but a source of fear. Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound. I reached to open the door, but something stayed my hand. It was my promise to Chiemi. But that scream just now was very real. It wasn't normal. I had to assume the situation was dangerous, and maybe I could help if I went out. But that meant endangering myself. I was no saint, and I had no plans to rectify that. If there was something that could get me to walk out, it would be curiosity. My curiosity had won over many dangers thus far, but right now, it was weaker than my fear and risk of death. Why? Because I already knew. Shit! What the hell were these memories? It wasn't a premonition, a dream, or anything else that vague.
My brain recognized it as something I'd experienced. But how? After all, I was still alive, and the time from those memories had yet to come. Was I a precog or something? My god, I swore I'd never experienced anything like this before coming here. And why did the memory come back to me at this particular moment? Regardless, that overwhelming fear and the pain and death that followed were exactly what waited for me if I opened the door. I couldn't feel more certain of that. The thoughts rendered me unable to move, immobile. I stood still, completely certain that I'd lost my chance to leave. I wasn't childish enough to sneer at selfish decisions, but this still didn't feel good. Not to mention, I was upset at myself for not being able to act like me and just run out simply because I was curious. I didn't even feel saved until that moment. Suddenly, the door began to shake. This place had a handle on the outside, and someone was pulling on it hard. There was a lock, sure, but there was only so much it could take before it broke. I prepared to pull it from the inside, but... Yeah, we've heard this. What would happen if I did? Whatever was outside would instantly know I was here. Even if I protected the door, the thing had lots of other ways of hurting me. But what if it didn't know about me and was just weirded out by this randomly locked toilet? What if I didn't show a hint of fear to what it was doing? Would it just leave? I chose to just wait and see. Once again, someone poured the door, shaking the structure as a whole. I gulped down a scream and focused on the lock. If it broke, it'd be over for me. Over, as in I'd be dead. That was what that memory told me. I was powerless back then, and even more so now. Assuming I tried to fight back, what would work? I'd heard that teeth were the hardest part of the human body, so maybe I could bite. Yeah, I'd tear whatever it was apart with my teeth. I'd bite it to death. I gathered my wits in killing intent, grinding my teeth. I glared at the door. How long had it been? The sound suddenly stopped. For all I knew, it might have been a ploy to make me drop my guard. I'd slowly count to 500. If nothing happened in that time, I'd assume it went away. There were no screams or attacks after that. But the silence around me improved my perception, and I heard strange noises every now and then. Breathing, growling, claws on the ground. Basically, I felt a beastly presence. I agree, Bellhound. That would make this visual novel take a very different turn. So that thing actually existed here. Was it what the mist brought here from Saranaga? The wolf is coming. Did they all know about this? Shit! I couldn't learn anything in a place like this. Not knowing things scared me. I really want to know why Chamie returned to this place. Trusting my prescience or deja vu or whatever it was, I chose to just stay quiet and wait. I'd find out everything tomorrow. I just had to make it through the night and then talk to Chamie. And if it was something I couldn't solve, I'd just run away. Thankfully, my bike repairs were going well, but I'd be leaving even if it didn't work. I'd walk to Kami Fujiyoshi if I had to. Like Yasumisu, they might have reliable means of transport. For now, I just had to stay awake and make it through the night. We survived! I'd never liked seeing night gradually turn brighter as the morning arrives. It always made me feel like shit. Like I'd just done something harmful both for my body and as a human being in general. I found it natural to spend the night asleep and welcoming the morning well-rested and with a smile. I'd never expected to feel so much gratitude for the morning light leaking through the door of an outhouse. It felt like the beasts had been out and about the whole night. Naturally, the high humidity here had made my clothes all wet and sticky. It was unpleasant. Even trying to move them and make it more comfortable for myself felt like a matter of life and death. Maybe it was a good thing I couldn't relax. But hell, it was exhausting in more ways than one. When I heard Chimi shout, "Haruaki-san!" in the distance, I was so overcome with relief I almost fell to my knees. If this turned out to be a trick and I opened the door to see some wolf with a chewed collar in its mouth lunging for my throat, I'd just give up and let it have me at this point. That in mind, I opened the door. I expected to see the same picturesque village I had seen yesterday, but what I actually saw shocked me pretty hard. What the hell was up with this thick mist? I couldn't see shit. It was like the entire area was consumed by it. Did someone line every inch of this place with dry ice or something? Haruaki-san! I could hear Chiemi, but not see her. Chiemi-chan, I'm right here! Haruaki-san? What a really... Ah! I heard a wet sound and finally saw a silhouette within the mist. Are you okay?
I'm stuck in the field.
I woke up and saw exactly what I expected. A girl struggling to free one of her legs, stuck deep in the paddy field. I see. Well, good luck.
Hey, help me out!
Oh, you can't do it yourself? Take my hand then. And out you go.
Whoa!
I tugged her hand and braced my legs. That was enough to help her, but she lost her balance and... Whoa! Safe!
Headlock! This is a wrestling move! You're actually pulling it off!
Despite how close we were now, this wasn't the least bit romantic.
Anyway, I'm glad you're okay.
I definitely remembered a time where I was far from alright, though. Yeah, I guess I am. I had no idea what that was about, so I didn't see any reason to mention it. I did feel like there was some beast outside. Jamie's expression immediately darkened. She clearly knew what I was referring to. I have a lot of questions, but right now I'm more interested in the scream I heard than anything else.
That was...
Huh? You know what I mean? She fell silent, clearly uncomfortable. It was pretty ominous.
This way. No point delaying the inevitable.
Jamie gave me her hand. I took it, but I didn't feel the least bit excited about this. She led me down the path to the school dorm.
Oh, Fusaishi-san, you're okay! Congrats on surviving, Toilet Man.
Thanks. Warm futon man. You're okay too, huh? Wait. Where's Haru-chan? Did she... Oh, she's fine. Suffered quite a shock, so she's taking a while to get dressed. I see. So the rest of you already have gotten a move on.
How do you handle being in there anyway? Were you asleep?
As if I could. I had no idea when I could get out, so I just waited until I heard Chiemi-chan's voice. Huh? You were awake. Yasunaga-kun made it sound like that was weird. You try sleeping in there, guy. You can't even sit, much less lie down. No, that's not what I see. I really hate it when people just trail off like that. It makes me way too curious. Why are you here anyway?
Waiting for Haru-chan and keeping a lookout.
A lookout?
We're not letting anyone near the scene until the situation is clear.
Scene? So someone actually...
Wanna see? It's a good way to test your stomach.
Mochi, don't mess around like that. Yeah, I do. The invisible and unknown were way scarier than anything else. Not to mention, I could already smell something foul. I lightly moved them aside and walked up to the so-called scene. There was a corpse. It was in such a horrible state, it was hard to recognize it as human. I imagined this was what you would have gotten if you overturned a butcher's cart. That was how thoroughly the victim was disassembled. Also, the butcher would have had to deal in entrails. Ugh, enough of that comparison. Straining my eyes to look through the thick mist, I could actually make out some human parts within the vast sea of blood, or mountain of death. Hands, torn clothing, hair, and a shoulder bag. How professional. She kept hold of her interviewing tools even while running for her life. Didn't do her odds of survival any favors, though. Despite the body's state, it wasn't hard to tell that the victim was Hisako Mamiya, the small-time food journalist. That thing. Did it come to me once it was done murdering her? This is awful.
Are you alright? Feel nauseous or anything?
Jamie was standing a short distance away, looking at nothing in particular. I've got nothing to puke and, well, I'm used to this.
Is that what you were studying in college?
Well, I guess you could say that.
Huh? Seriously? So you can do autopsies and stuff?
When asked if they study medicine, I guess you can say that is what students from similar departments say to make themselves look good. But I did see a few pathology analysis. I crouched down and put my hands together. Then, grimacing at the harrowing reek of blood, innards, and especially digested food, I brought my face closer. Perhaps I could learn something from this. I could, even if it wasn't much. The corpse wasn't split into pieces. The limbs were still connected, but they were folded in an unnatural way and looked really flattened. They were either crushed or bent with no regard to bones or muscle position. Then, her whole body had been torn apart. The innards were particularly badly damaged. The words "wolfed down" felt like the best way to put it. Is now really the time for puns? I found it hard to describe. This wasn't my job, so there wasn't much I could tell about it without touching it. This is way beyond anything I've ever seen before. I can barely tell what happened here. I had an urge to add that this seemed inhuman, but I kept myself from saying that. Anyway, we should call the police. Leave it to the pros. I said something any good citizen would, but for some reason, they didn't seem to agree.
Haruaki-san, the police won't come.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, someone died.
They won't.
Then let's evacuate.
That's not happening either.
Why? We have my bike in their van. Anyway, with Fusaishi-san, we now have all survivors, so let's go to the dining hall.
We'll wait for Haru-chan. Yeah, you do that. Let's go, Haruaki-san.
Can I get an explanation?
Sorry, but I'm not in the mood for explanations. Figure it out for yourself.
It was the first time Shamie had acted so harsh with me. I was pretty irritated myself, but it must have been worse for them. They actually had info on what was happening here. Sorry, that was insensitive of me. Shamie said nothing more and just silently walked off. I followed after her. When we reached the plaza, I instantly understood what she'd said about evacuating. The bike and the van were both completely destroyed. Oh boy. Oh boy. The latter was in a particularly bad state. The front window was broken. All 4 tires were flat, etc., etc. My bike was on its side. In front, fork was broken. Its front fork was broken. Well, it was basically scrap metal now. Fuck. There was a rock right next to it. Guess we had our weapon. And there were more remains inside the van. It looked like an enormous mountain of flesh and bone. If I didn't know about Yudai Hashimotoshi, I'd assume there were 2 or 3 corpses here. Hashimoto-san. Shamie slowly nodded. I now knew we'd lost not only 2 lives, but any means of transportation as well.
Look there.
She pointed at a wooden electrical pole. The line was dangling, torn apart with no hope of repair.
The other power lines are fine. The dining halls was destroyed along with the telephone line. We can't contact the outside.
I took out my own phone. It worked, but the battery was almost dead, and like before, it was out of range. The situation had become even harsher than before.
Look here, too.
Shamie walked a few steps away. I followed after. There was a large boulder. It was tall enough to reach an average roof, and there were drawings on it. A crimson symbol of some sort. What did it represent? At first, it looked like an incoherent mess of lines. However, I soon realized there was a pattern. It felt like the calling card of some street gang. From what I could tell, the basis was a warped diamond shape with a spiral inside. There were 2 of them. They seemed to be drawn in blood, but that wasn't nearly as disturbing as the bizarre shape.
2 wolves have snuck into the village. We have to fight.
Shamie made a quiet declaration. Apparently, this settlement had been invaded by something malicious, and it was intelligent enough to rid it of all means of escape or contacting help. I could understand that much, but it didn't make sense to me. This wasn't some isolated island. There was the cliff, sure, but you could still go down to Saranaga or go to Kamifujiyoshi. I'd ask about that next time I had the chance.
Sorry. Sorry I got mad. It must be hard for you too.
Don't worry about that. I'm just an outsider.
Don't say that.
Oh, or a choice of words on my part. I mean, I'm an outsider who doesn't know the rules, so I'll just silently watch for the time being. I'm tired, but I think I'm less shaken by this than most people, so I figured it's best for me to stay cool. I imagine even the elders here are more bothered by this.
Haruaki-san, are you really just some university graduate?
What else could I be?
I don't know. You just seem way too calm about this. Like you're used to situations like this.
My nerves are pretty messed up, I guess. The small dining hall was jam-packed with people. You. He survived. Good morning. Well, I guess it's not very good considering what's going on.
I'm sorry. I didn't prepare enough tea.
Oh, it's okay. You did it, didn't ya? The younger Oriba boy menaced me. No, I didn't. Why would you think that? Shut it. Where the hell do you get off strutting in like that? Stop it, Yoshibo. You're the one who needs to shut it. The hell? You're the one who sent this bastard Shady. Ugh, man, I hadn't expected to be treated this badly. I'm saying this ain't a matter for a brat like you and your father and Kaori-san, right?
Takumi-san, please calm down. Let's keep it peaceful.
It's fine. We'll talk it out.
Thus I offer a homage to Shinai, the Almighty, so peace may come to pass. Thus I offer homage to Shinai, the Almighty, so peace may come to pass.
Stop, Taiba. That's a bad omen. Where's the key to the meeting hall?
I gave it to Uematsu-sama too, maybe 3 days ago. Said she'd fix the podium.
Well, Missy? I'll go get it. That was the woman. So, she wasn't just an illusion. Uematsu-sama was her name, huh? I thought our eyes met for a second, but she just walked by me.
Wait!
Meiko-chan, wait here for a moment. That girl was here too. Deeper in there was Kyonosuke no Satoshi, clearly irritated by something. And not too far away, there was the old man who cried wolf. Just like yesterday, it was hard to tell what he was looking at, let alone thinking. They were the only ones sitting, by the way. The others were all just idly standing around. Mom, everyone, we're back.
Come in, Haru-chan.
Okay. The 3 students were here. With them, the settlement's entire population had gathered. As for the outsiders, the journalists were dead, while I and the mysterious girl had survived. I didn't know the circumstances, but they probably had their reasons to be suspicious of me. Suddenly, Chimi did something unexpected.
Ikako-san, can you wait a moment?
She stopped the girl who was about to go out to get some key. Each villager seemed to call her differently, so I didn't know what to call her myself.
This is Haruaki Fusaishi. He crashed his bike and I met him at Saranaga.
Oh. Hello? An introduction? Now? Why?
This is Rikako Uematsu-san. Uematsu is made of the kanji for spin and end. Pretty rare, right? Oh, she's the current head of the Uematsu household, one of the chief families from Kami Fujiyoshi.
I'm Rikako Uematsu. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Oh. So she was like a local celebrity, huh? Like Kyonosuke she's in the Sato family?
And that's Meiko-chan. We only call her that because we don't know her real name.
Hello there. Nice to meet you. The girl they called Mako trembled a bit and... Oh my. Whoa. Sprinted through the crowd to hide behind Rikako Uematsu. So, what do you want to say, Chiemi?
I suggest not inviting Haruaki Fusaishi to the feast.
I felt a wave of perplexion go through the room. Gee, that ain't how it works. The feast is there to help us decide if he's shady or not, right? Their expressions were stern and their words harsh.
No, I'm saying he doesn't even have the right to participate in the feast.
The hell are you talking about? He's the shadiest of us all.
Yoshi-kun, did you prepare for the feast?
Huh? Yeah, I did.
Who didn't?
How was I supposed to react? No one else was raising their hands, but I had no idea what they were talking about. Me, probably. I don't even know what that entails.
The other two who didn't prepare for the feast were taken by the corruption. However, Haruaki-san wasn't. I think the Okami-sama ignored him.
Okami-sama? As in Wolf-sama? Why the reverence? And what was she even talking about?
He's from Saranaga, sure, but he clearly just passed by. In fact, I think he'd get in the way of the feast. No, for all we know, forcing him into the feast would just make the Okami-sama mad.
What do you think, Ba-chan?
Did you really survive without preparation?
What was I supposed to do?
Purify, shelter, dream.
Dream? So that's why Oribe was surprised that we didn't go to sleep.
Basically cleanse your body, lock up in a single building all by yourself, and wait for dawn while asleep.
I didn't then. I was in the outhouse by myself, but that's it. I didn't bathe, and I spent the night awake. The place got all noisy. They probably didn't expect that answer.
I don't know. This never happened before.
Taisa sounded genuinely puzzled.
What do you think, Rikako-san?
I had no idea what kind of dynamics were at work here, but Chiemi asked for Rikako Uematsu's opinion. I consent to the idea. If our great lord Shinai chose to spare him, he must be exempt from the rules of the mountain. Her words created even more commotion.
So there.
Chiemi, you know what you're doing, right? If we remove him...
Yeah, we won't have to waste our hanging for the day.
Old man, what do you think? It was roundabout, but in the end, once again the one to make the final call was Kanso Makishimashi. He won't be in the feast. Old man. What? Glaring directly at me, the old man walked through the gathering and approached me. Seeing him from up close, I realized just how big and burly he was. It was pretty typical of someone living in a place like this, but it felt out of place on someone his age. His expression displayed both an inner strength to match his physique and a profound rage. If the law of the mountain don't work on ya, it'll be our rules you follow. If you don't, I'll shoot you dead. He spoke slowly, yet decisively. Man, this was uncomfortable. Hold on. If he can be excluded, I would like the same to happen to Rikako-san and I. Huh, why? We're from Kamifuji Yoshi. We have no reason to play along with Saranaga's business.
Nosato-sama, that won't do. If you're here on the day of the feast, it doesn't matter if you're Nosato, Uematsu, Miguruma, or Higuchi. Uncle, that means Yasun and I could leave too. You were both disinherited. That's different. Why must people that are still part of the Flora families take place in this idiocy?
Listen here, Kyo.
Don't call me that, Mudo. Let's go, Rikako-san. We have no reason to play with these peasants.
No, Nosato-sama. Those in Fujiyoshi have a duty to remain present. All remains in the hands of Shinai-sama, and we now gather upon the platter named Yasumisu.
But...
If you got a problem, then get out. Let the corruption take you.
Kyunosuke-shi eventually fell silent, and Rikako left. To get the key, probably. She returned in no time, and everyone began leaving.
You're not coming with us. All right. Where to, then? Takumi, is the cage open? Well, yeah. All right, I'll take him. Cage? Come with me.
Everyone went to some hall near the village plaza, while Takumi led me elsewhere. We made our way through the tall grass between the buildings. At a dead end, next to the wild trees and the rocky cliff, there was a large cage. Oh boy. It even had a roof, and would have passed for a hut with a bit of work.
This is where we keep the live game we capture. Sorry, but you'll have to wait here.
I can't say no, can I?
Don't take it wrong way, okay? You'll be out once we're done with the feast. It won't take long.
And I can't get any details, huh?
Yeah, I do feel bad about this, but you should be thankful you don't need to take part in the feast.
How was I supposed to feel that way if I didn't even know what the feast was? I'd have asked, but he looked pretty irritated. Probably because he wanted to get it over with, so I kept my mouth shut. The floor of the cage was mostly gravel, with spaces of wheat and other things littered about. There was a vague but very clear scent of beasts. Can I lie down here? I figure I should sleep whenever I can.
Man, you're brash.
No, just a coward. I don't want to die is all. That was why I'd abandoned those people. After Takumi-san locked me in and left, I laid down and closed my eyes. The ground was hard and it reeked pretty bad, but it was still an improvement over the outhouse. I should have taken the time to think about what the villagers had said about my strange memories and about how I could get the hell out of here. That was what I wanted to do, but I knew that I'd just be swept away by an unproductive spiral of regret if I went down that rabbit hole. Had I always been this admirable of a person? Another thing. For some reason, I felt like I'd spend the entirety of this time just watching the battle. So I decided that I'd focus on resting, in preparation for what was to come. Everyone's sitting. Then... Wait, who's this? Oh, okay, she's just in a different outfit than her school uniform, okay. Let's begin the feast of the Yomi Purge. Uematsu-sama, if you may. This is a sacred sake presented to us by Shinai-sama. Please drink it, starting from the youngest. Sake? You just put your mouth to it. No drinking for you, kids.
Not like it'd kill me.
Stop it, Yoshitsugu. You say something too, Yasunaga.
Yoshitsugu, this is just for tradition's sake. shut it. I know how it is, Aniki.
I don't want to drink this. Haru-chan, just kiss it. There. Done, and I'm done too.
Same here. Chieni?
Alright, adult time. Here I go.
This is enough for me. It's better than I expected. Muro? We're drinking sake during the day. This piece is something. Here, old man. Don't spill it, Taiba.
I'll have it. Can you hold it, mister? Sake.
That's done. Taiba, explain.
You all know the tales, don't you? When the evening mist comes, the Okami-sama, the wolves, come back to life and try to slay the humans. There were 2 symbols of the Yomotsu Okami. That means that 2 wolves have risen. That's why we must do as Shinai-sama says and throw feasts so we can find and hang them using the powers of the guardians some of us were given. If we don't, we will be taken by the corruption. That means dying a horrible death. To avoid the corruption, we must have feasts to slay the wolves. That is our roles as inhabitants of Yasumisu. One-chan, what does slay mean?
It means kill.
Gary?
It's fine. I'll protect you. Sorry for the interruption, Yamawaki-san.
It's okay. Children always do that. She's not the only one among us who could be a wolf.
Good grief, what nonsense! Aw shit, time to pre-order. If that's what you think, then just fuck off and let the corruption have ya. Yoshitsugu! Oh, Riba-san, I'm concerned about your son's upbringing. I'm like this because I wanna be. Don't drag the hag into this. Shut up, Yoshitsugu, I'll punch you. Takumini, the hell are you acting tough for? If I say I'll punch you, I will. You too, Kyo. Just shut up and listen. You don't have the guts. Hear that? Adults don't let stuff like that get to them. Anyway, Ba-chan. This doesn't seem right to me. I've been hearing about this ever since I was young, but it's never made sense to me. We've been here for as long as we can remember, with the exception of Mako. We all know each other. They've been replaced by wolves? Like hell, they're the same as always. Takumi, you're being naive. What? You're saying there's someone shady among us? Almost there. Everyone's shady.
Oh jeez, Chan.
You be careful too, Haru. Even beasts can trick people. And people trick better than any beasts. There are things here acting like they're one of us.
Why are you so confident?
There's truth in what the ancestors said.
Well, if you say so. That's just what Yasumisu's numbskulls say, isn't it?
Kikamochi.
Again, you irreverent little...
Mochi, stop that. I'm sorry. So what do we do now? What do you mean? We talk and decide, right? Will that be enough? I mean, we're deciding who to kill here, aren't we? Everyone will say what they think, then we'll narrow down to the most reasonable opinion. Chieni, what do you think?
I think it's a mess. You already have people who think no one's shady, and those who think everyone is. Yammering on and on about something that can't be reasonably decided is a waste of time. Besides, in the end, this is just going to be decided by whoever's most influential.
What are you getting at? Don't worry too much, Chiemi. Most of us here are Yasumisu brothers and sisters. It'll work out in the end.
I appreciate that you're being so considerate, but... we're talking about killing someone here. Plus, it gets worse. If you don't want to pick someone close to you, you'll choose someone else. Someone you don't like, or a stranger. Personally, I think you shouldn't let that kind of thing affect your decision. It'd be a grave mistake.
Hey, I'm trying to say that killing and all that shit is insane, and we should stop it.
That won't do, Takumi.
Oh, Chan's saying the same thing. That's why we gotta talk it out, you know?
I know what you're trying to say, but... can I... Haru-chan speaking. What's the likelihood of the guy Chieni-san brought being the one who killed the journalists? See? What did I just say? I don't think he did it. It's just my gut, though. What about you guys?
Komini, you said he's shady. Yeah, I did, but like Chiemi said, we shouldn't make decisions based on that. Also, the guy's weird, but I don't think he'd do something like that.
I'm with you on that. This is our problem, so we should solve it by ourselves. Isn't that basically choosing someone based on who you like?
So how do you think we should choose Kyonosuke-san?
I believe majority rule is the most reliable method here, Yasunaga Oribe-kun. Hail democracy and all that. That's not very like you. I'm merely saying there's no better way to get the common opinion of this many people. Also, talking it out and making the decision then is basically taking the conclusion most people agree with, no? That's the same as majority rule. Otherwise, like you mentioned, everything would be decided by whoever had the most influence. Who would that be here in Yasumiso? Hanzo? Makishimishi? Tai Yamawaki-san? And who would be killed? Me, of course, the non-local. Isn't that foolish, considering the people deciding might themselves be wolves? Nosato-san. Just so you are aware, I have no intention of dying. At the very least, I want a method where I have a say in what happens.
I'm against that. Majority rule? Yeah, you'll get a conclusion, but there's no guarantee it'll be right. I still think talking it out and deciding then is the best.
Speaking of which, what would we even talk about? Hi, Ba-chan. You said something about the Guardians of the Mountain lending us their aid, right? Yes, the snake, the monkeys, the crow, and the spider will lend us their aid. Do you know the details? The snake!
Oh, fart! You know about it!
The snake can ask the mountain who's a wolf. There are two monkeys. They both know who the other monkey is. The crow can ask the mountain if the hanged one was a wolf. The spider can ask the mountain to protect someone from the wolves, but only for one night.
That's what I've been told, too.
The wolf has come.
I wasn't aware you knew this. I thought you were just senile, but it looks like you're pious, too. Anyway, that means some of us here should have those powers. What do you mean? Wait, do gods and the guardians even exist? Isn't it just some serial killer using old folktales as a cover? Haru-chan, God really does exist. You just believe he does. No, all of us must have seen Shinai-sama at least once in our lives.
But that's... Calm down, Haru-chan. Are you alright?
Yeah, sorry.
Whether it's true or not, we should start by putting together what we know. Too early to decide anything. Yeah, pretty much, Bellhound. Let's make the guardian thing a bit easier to understand.
Can't you youngins remember the old tales better?
Let's see. So snake sees monkey hold hands. Crow tastes. And spider protects. I remember I had a spot where I was playing the online version of Mafia a lot. And everyone would go into instant panic when the baker died. Anytime they saw that there was a baker row, everyone would get extra nervous.
The snake can discover the wolves among the people. It's also the guardian beast of the Miguruma family. The monkeys know for certain that the other monkeys aren't wolves. It's the guardian beast of the Higuchi family. The crow can tell if the one who died was a wolf or not. It's my family's, Nosato's guardian beast. That's pretty sad. Silence! The spider can keep the wolves from entering someone's home. It's the Uemotsu guardian. Indeed. Each family's crests represent their guardians, too. But how do those chosen by these guardians use their powers? The snake writes the name of one still living person on something and puts it under their pillow before bed. The next morning, Shinai-sama tells them whether it's a human or a wolf. There are two monkeys, and Shinai-sama tells them who the other monkey is the moment they're granted protection. The crow is told whether the person who was hanged the day before is a human or not. The spider writes the name of one still living person and places it on their pillow. That person will be protected from the wolves, but only for one night. With these methods, we must use the powers of the guardians to pick someone to hang each day. If we get all the wolves, we win. If the wolves get everyone else, we lose. Do you understand now?
Yes, but... where do you even learn this?
I heard about it from my Oba-chan. Wait, that means that those who have village head family blood have their guardians, right? I'm not sure about that. I mean, we don't have anyone with Miguruma blood, disowned or not.
I heard that. The guardians are very fickle about who they lend their aid to.
Then who are they?
If they reveal it, they might make themselves targets for the wolves. We won't get anything done if we don't talk about it, though.
You think so? What if...
Ugh, screw this! We're wasting time here! Listen up! My guardian's the snake!
Oh, buddy.
Huh?
What?
Akumini, is that true? How do you even know that?
I forgot to explain that. The guardian comes when we're dreaming and leave a mark for their chosen ones. If you wish to borrow their power, write it up and put it in your pillow. The mark will give you their answer.
Yeah, Bellhound, right? Just put a target on his forehead. Yeah, I have a mark on me. I don't remember the dream, though.
The snake sees? Does that mean Takumi-chan already knows who are the wolves here? No, as I said, he has to write it up, and he can only choose one person per night. Huh? So we won't know anything until tomorrow morning? Yes.
Can I ask something, Muro? What is it? Why did you reveal such important information for no reason? What do you mean, why? We have no other information to go on. Based on what's been said, the snake's power is very important. It makes you a very powerful asset in the fight against the wolves. So revealing it like you did puts you in grave danger. Huh, I ain't scared at all. How can you say that? Do you see what those monsters did to those people? Oh, so you believe in monsters? It was a figure of speech. Anyway, this turn of events has cost us a valuable weapon. Don't just decide that. You don't know shit. Yes, I do. Listen to me, everyone. Anything you say here is free information for the wolves. We should talk things out without overplaying our hands, yeah? That's true, and it gave me an idea. I'm the one speaking now. Quiet, fool. Yasu, speak. Huh? To make the best of Takumini's reveal, the spider should protect him. That's what I was thinking. And that's a good play, but it could... The spider among us, without revealing his or her identity, should, write his name down, I suppose, and protect him. That would keep him safe. What do you think? Sounds good to me. Yasu. Old man. You'll be safe today. Ask the snake to tell you about someone.
Whatever he finds out would definitely be correct, right?
Right.
Takumi-chan, can you promise you won't lie no matter who you investigate and what result you get?
Of course I won't.
Isn't that good enough for today? I don't think we can hang anyone without any kind of proof.
You sure that's okay? Why wouldn't it be? Just sitting around and waiting doesn't suit me, okay? I know that. Oh, by the way, I think Takumini should tell us who he investigate. Why? So if you investigate someone and don't like the result, you can't lie that you actually investigated someone else. What the? I wouldn't lie.
That's reasonable, I'd say. It's necessary for Moodle, considering how sympathetic he is to Yasumisu's inhabitants. He's not that special in that regard. Everyone wants to protect their own, but the situation doesn't allow that. There's another positive to that. We can all discuss and decide who we should investigate first, right?
True, I'd like to think about that too. Who do you think I should go for, Yasunaga? I'm not too sure, but I think we should start with the one who's most likely to be unjustly chosen to be hanged. That would be me. Honestly, I feel as though I can't even speak if I'm not confirmed to be human. You're speaking quite a lot, if you ask me. Then I'll investigate Kiyo. Is that okay? Fine by me. And we're not hanging anyone today.
Is that really fine?
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. That's it for today. But with that, I think we will go ahead and end things right here. Got our first ending. Got a clear look of what this is gonna be about. I wonder if we ourselves are ever gonna get the opportunity to make choices about who should be hanged or not. Because I doubt we're gonna be kept out of the feast for very long. Well, let's see. For the rest of the week, tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST here on YouTube, it's going to be Tales of Fantasia with Kuru. Then on Thursday on the Discord at 9 p.m. EST, it's going to be the Star Trek watch-along. Then maybe Saturday at 9 p.m. EST, it will be Animorphs. And then on Sunday at 8 p.m. EST, it will be Final Fantasy XIV on Twitch. But thank you all so very much for coming on by. Hope you have a wonderful time zone wherever you are, and as always, please do take care of yourselves and each other. Toodaloo-hoo!